inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you, 'cause real women don't bitch, no. Real women don't, 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 real women don't bitch.
Hey, thank you for joining me on the Real Women Don't Bitch podcast. This is your proud host, August Crenshaw, aka Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. I am the #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs because building mental muscle is necessary in order to implement successful business strategies. This show has been created for the woman who is not excuse-driven and needs help building a profitable business. I will be interviewing women from various fields who are willing to break the silence on struggles that specifically affect female entrepreneurs. Welcome to a show where I and guest speakers from time to time share our methods that help us beast our business no matter what is going on in our lives. Whether you are an online or brick and mortar business owner, this show is for you. We will hit every angle, personal, professional, and spiritual. Why? Because on any given day, you get hit with shit from a scenario involving one, more, or perhaps all of the above. It all impacts you and your mindset towards your business. I have made it my personal mission to provide a space where we dive deep into the BS we face on a day-to-day basis. Woohoo! Hey, ladies. Oh man, the last 24 hours have been a trip for me. You know, I saw a post in a Facebook group and somebody was like, hey, what's happening? What kind of signs are you experiencing to let you know that you're on the right path? And my sign was actually a distraction. And so I want to talk to you guys today, and I want to have a very practical conversation because, you know, we have to deal with where we are in business. And a lot of times, whenever you want something, when you're going after it with great fervor, your spirit is challenged, your faith is challenged, your speech is challenged, how you speak to your circumstances. And oftentimes people will just tell you to get into this place where you believe you can have the sun, the moon, and the stars right now. And I do believe that people shouldn't say things like I can't or I'm trying. And I do believe you should set the expectation to have everything you want, but then you also should be reasonable because distractions are going to happen. Life is going to happen, and you should know what you're willing to sacrifice or put on hold. What has to happen right now? What can happen later? And so to make a long story short, and not give you all of the details because this is kind of personal, I dealt with a major distraction the other day. The kind of distraction that, you know, made me want to make some very rash decisions. And think about it. Sometimes you could really hate your job. You're working and you're building your business. And the day that you're really, really stressed is the day that your manager just totally disrespects you. See, I'm not going to be disrespected. That's why I'm leaving this job. When in all actuality, you may not get the benefits, the money, and, you know, the simplicity of a schedule with your next job to be able to build your business on the side. Maybe it's where you live and you're like, I just need more space. I need more space. I need to have a bigger office. I need to do this. And I don't really like, you know, this area that I'm in, you know, and so something happens, you know, and who knows, maybe it's something where the police were called, but that can happen in any zip code. And you're like, see, that's why I can't be here. And you're going to end up moving, and the cost that you're going to have to pay may be a lot of money that you could spend somewhere else. And so let's just talk about this. So I got hit. There are certain types of distractions that when they come, it's a sign for me. It used to be my car. whenever something major would break down, I began to realize I would go through a major transition. I also realized that my money mindset was being challenged because it seemed like every single time I was ready to invest in myself, invest in my business for something that was really important, I also had to deal with the challenge that something was happening with my vehicle. And there's a difference between someone else telling you to, test your faith or to step out on faith versus you saying, wait a minute, no, I'm still going to make this investment. Everything is going to be okay. And I will give you this example. When we left Houston after Harvey, we stopped through St. Louis with some friends and family. My husband and I, we sat down and we discussed the date of when we were going to leave. And our family was trying to get us to stay there longer. Once they realized that we could, quote unquote, live anywhere because of the kind of work that I do, they were like, oh, well, you guys can stay till Christmas. So we were like, nope, that's not when we're going to stay. Well, right when we decided that we needed to leave, we ended up finding out that the Cadillac converter was messed up on our Jeep. And I was like, oh my God, here we go again. And those of you that know the whole deal, that's a very costly job. And for a Jeep Cherokee, I can't remember, but it was upward of $2,500 to like maybe $3,000. And I was like, man, here it goes again. And my husband was like, what are we going to do? I was like, I don't know. Just take the car to the dealership, because we had actually sent it to a local mechanic just to read why the check engine light was on. I was like, go ahead. We're going to take it, we're going to give it to them and get it priced out or whatever. But we still got to have our mind set to leave on the specific date when we were going to leave. And what ended up happening is there was a law that had been passed that we didn't know anything about that said that if a Cadillac converter didn't last for a certain amount of years, a certain amount of miles, that the dealership actually had to replace it for free. And I remember going live and talking to my tribe and telling them that it was a transition coming. And so what that basically meant that, and not that only that there was a transition coming, but that the car and its issues did not hold the significance that it used to hold for me anymore, because I saw how God was working everything out. Because there was another situation prior to that was almost as costly, and it was a similar thing where we just ended up not having to fork out the money. But that doesn't mean the distractions don't stop coming. And so for now, what I didn't realize is with the distraction with Harvey is that distractions now come to me with water. It could be something silly like my apartment flooded. That's something that happened when we were living here. And I've learned that that's a symbolism of being in flow. And so a lot of you, what you've got to do is you've got to look and say, wait a minute, I'm noticing a pattern. And it may not always necessarily be water or the car, but it is your emotions. It is the way you feel. It's the way that you want to make moves. And if you aren't clear, this is why we write the vision down and make it plain. This is why we take the time to know what we really want and keep the main thing. Because when you have to make critical decisions, you can rest in peace, because a lot of times your spirit of gratitude has to do with accepting your current situation, as you are also embodying the mindset to have all that you want. And so a lot is transitioned in my home with my time, my husband's time. A lot has transitioned with my business. And here it is. We've already discussed what's most important as far as investing with a mother's helper, because we've got to branch off and do those things. Me investing in a coach, me investing in another opportunity, which I won't say what that is right now, because that's going to be a major freaking surprise. And so when this distraction that came up for me came up, I wanted to start making moves, and those moves would have cost me money. And I had to sit back and say, you know what, by the time I get through, I will have almost paid for my coach by making these moves. Why put myself under those financial constraints when I could just calm down and woosah? Because this is just a moment in time. This situation that I'm dealing with in a 2-year time span, I want to say that it's been 80% good. And that's how we have to do it, right? Because some of you guys, you may be blessed and your job, for instance, is 100% good. But what about those of you that you say overall, it's good. I go, I do my work, I come home. Every once in a while, I have to deal with a shitty situation with a coworker or a manager. You know what I'm saying? When something is majority good, don't try to go and see if the grass is greener on the other side and totally screw yourself. And so when the distractions come up for you, really, instead of tripping off of the distractions, I really want you to trip off of yourself. And because my energy was so negative and my anxiousness to do things was coming from a very dark place, we just literally call it dark, I had to sit back and say, wait a minute, you know what? Calm down, August. Pull away from everything. Think it through. Let it go. Matter of fact, don't think about it at all. And then come back to it and make the right decision. Make the decision accordingly. So ladies, the distractions that you're coming may be there to put you in a position where you're going to make some changes that might financially or in a time-wise manner really mess up you doing what you need to do for your business. There are people who are surviving and doing more with less. And sometimes we need to really look at our situation and say, you know what? It isn't as bad as I keep making it seem. I'm just anxious in my spirit to have more. And then if you do that, you can also go back and look and say, you know what, these things that I want, actually the issue is that I'm not setting the intention. I'm not setting the standard. I need to go back and make sure that I am focused on what's most important. So I'll leave that right there. Like I said, sometimes I give you guys a lot of the juicy details on me. This conversation had a little bit more vague obscurities, but I know that you get the gist. Reevaluate your life and what's going on and make sure that you don't let distractions keep you off your main goal. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.
Thank you for joining me today. Remember to cultivate a mindset that is biased towards taking action. No bitching, whining, or complaining. Here, our mantra is, real women don't bitch, we get shit done. See you next week as I continue to bring you what you need to keep your head in the game and beast your business. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Would you like a specific topic covered? Have a question you would like answered live? Then head on over to realwomendon'tbitchpodcast.com. Subscribe to my email list, hit me up, and I got you. Interested in being a guest speaker? You walk the walk? Then you can sign up on the website too. This is your #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs, Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. Signing out. Deuces.
Inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in